Hello, I'm James Whittington-Phillips, and welcome to week 1 of the reflective logs for September. So, over this first week we've found out what play we're going to be doing, which is the Trojan Women. And along with that, we found out what our initial unit is, which is Unit 9, which as we're doing the Trojan Women, we're doing a classical experiment piece. So, in that vein, this week we started by experimenting along and down the avenue of rituals. So what we've done over this first week so far is experiment with some ritualistic movement to go with a monologue, and what this has provided us is with a base to start working on the play going forward, and effectively start to experiment with different things of movement, because using our ritualistic movement as a base, it gives us something to add to the play, as well as gives us an opportunity to look into, and also not look into so much, but gives us an opportunity to start to learn how to just not overthink and just go in and try different things and see what works and what doesn't work. It effectively gives us the opportunity to just go crazy with different ideas, because while doing the ritual pieces to a monologue from the Trojan Women, we experimented with different levels, different voices, different ritualistic movements, and we we looked into sort of different types of rituals, whether that be religious ritual, satanic ritual, a magical ritual. There are so many different types of rituals, and we sort of experimented with different bits of all of them, really, as we could take bits from all different kinds of ritualistic movements. So sacrificial rituals, what we did was we just took a monologue, learnt the monologue naturally, and then effectively took the same monologue and then created a series of ritualistic movement, whether that be, and add it to the monologue and perform the monologue while we were actually doing these ritualistic movements, which I personally think went really well. I quite enjoyed doing that, because the way I personally went with my ritualistic movements sort of go a bit more of a sacrificial ritual, where I'm sacrificing someone, because I decided to get the monologue of Poseidon as my chosen monologue for this. And what I did was sort of take it away that was actually different to a lot of other people. I didn't just experiment with like gestures. I experimented with my voice. So sort of it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, as I sort of kind of sounded more like Gollum than what I was hoping to. But the idea behind it was that I would effectively make a sort of a ritual as if I'm sacrificing someone to the gods in hopes to end the Trojan War. Now, also this week we started to dive into our first point of singing, and we started with the basics effectively. So we started off by just getting down some basic scales and arpeggios, so just going da 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 da, and then we sort of moved on to looking at our first song, which we're going to use in our play, which is called Wade in the Water, which is a gospel song, and what we did for that, we sort of started by learning the lyrics of the song, and then what we did was start to go a bit more in depth and begin to experiment with, again keeping with the theme of experimentation, and experiment with finding harmonies, which in a way this also helps us, as I feel that finding the harmonies also does sort of get us working together, and sort of helps us separate the different levels of vocals. So we were trying to aim for 3 different harmonies: one high pitch, one medium pitch, and one low pitch. And really, what helped in this session was this week was a sort of, we started off with the basics. So we started off by looking at starting off by, before we even read the book, sort of look at how we can experiment with different sort of ancient ritualistic movements, and as well as sort of just starting from the basics of singing. So what went well this week was the fact that we made a really decent start, as doing the ritualistic movement stuff gives us a baseline of what is yet to come. So it gives us a baseline and sort of starts giving us the training we need to effectively start experimenting with the play. So, and it sort of helps us develop that sense of not overthinking what we're doing and just going ahead and doing something. I think some personal targets for me going forward is sort of try and work on my pitch and tempo a little bit, and trying to keep in tempo. But I know that all that really takes is practice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep practicing it every week. We're going to have music from going forward, and sort of start to work towards experimenting stuff, sort of start thinking of, and also sort of start to think about what I'm going to do for audition piece for the actual play, so I can get a character so it can be cast. So that is log 1 for week 1. Thank you for watching.